All right, so just wanted to show you guys kind of how this video came together. I thought I'd try actually shooting some video um, and doing a screen record at the same time. So I thought I'd just kind of walk you through how this video came together. This is the Bentonville Snow video that I went out and recorded on Thursday, which was like February 18th, I believe. So I went out and took my pocket cinema and my Mavic Mini and went out and shot. I shot with the Mavic Mini, I shot mostly with the Mavic Mini, probably like 90% of the time, and I just wasn't feeling it with the pocket cinema that day. It was just cold. It was there was a lot going on, and I had gloves on, and it just didn't feel. I just didn't have an on day with the camera that day. It was bright, just wasn't feeling it. So I got a few shots, but most of the stuff was with the drone, and about half the shots I got from my truck because it was so cold. But that's and so I wanted to show you kind of some of the walk through each one of the shots and just kind of explain how I put it together, because it's not incredibly complex here. You're not seeing a whole lot of complexity as far as like the shots. It's just straight up dissolves, and just timing it out to the music was a big one. So just kind of setting the precedent of how I went out and shot. So I took the pocket cinema, kind of shot around that. So I had that in the 235:1 aspect ratio, which is that more like cinematic film, feature film type aspect ratio, 235:1, and kind of worked around that. So the Mavic Mini doesn't shoot that way, but it doesn't shoot 4K either, but it shoots like 2.7K. So I blew those shots up just a little bit to fit inside that, but I knew that would the pocket cinema was going to be the largest. That was going to be the largest frame size that I'm going to use. So that's what I did. I started from there, kind of worked my way through the video, and so went and mainly used the Mavic Mini first. But then I kind of went back through and where I shot this too was in the North Forest. I keep going back to there, and I would venture out even further, but I keep finding different looks every time I go out there. So I'm going to just keep going out there until I just get bored of, until I just don't find something new to get on film or to get with the drone, because I keep finding new things, even though it's the same place. And I've been out since August or so, and shot a handful of videos, about one a month typically, maybe one every 3 weeks, something like that. But this is the first time that I've actually been out with snow, so that was fun. It was a little bit cold, but the sun was out, and it wasn't nearly as cold as like 5 degrees, something like that. It was really, really cold earlier in the week, but then that day it was like 21 or something, and the sun was out, so it felt good outside. So just kind of walking through the shots. This was with the pocket cinema. I'll kind of walk through them, and as I catch something, I'll kind of point some stuff out. So of course I used the music by Chick Corea. He passed away probably a week ago, and it was February 9th, and he's been a big influence on my musical life, big influence on some of the things that I've played, in band and drum corps and stuff like that growing up. A lot of things were influenced by him, and I just love him as an artist. Just a really good, like a teacher, and he's also just a really good, he's really good at just kind of coming up with stuff on the fly, and he's just a really good legend in the jazz world. So a lot of influence by him. Even the stuff that I listen to today, even if it isn't Chick Corea, it's more than likely influenced by Chick Corea. So that's how I came across that. And I didn't pick out the music until after I got home. I was like, I didn't even really think of it till I got home. I was like, you know what, I need to find some good Chick Corea music. So so this was another off the pocket cinema. So this is this shot here. I love this shot. So this was over at Orchard Park, and shot with the Mavic, and just kind of shot above it. Kind of did like a took the controller and kind of went up and to the left at the same time. That kind of gives it that it's spinning and it's going up at the same time. So so that's what that is, and I loved having the tracks of snow through there. And the okay, so just kind of walking through a couple more shots. Loved having the tracks of snow there. Okay, so this was the first shot that I, for whatever reason, it's not rendered. This one's got a little bit more going on with it right now, and I didn't think to render it. Let's see how long it'll take to render if I hit render. Probably a long time, because what I've got is, you know what, we'll come back to that. That's going to take a while. And now my fan's going at full blast. Just so you know what I'm running off of too, I'm running off of MacBook Pro, and it's the 2017 it is an i7, and I've had that for about 3 years, and it's been a great laptop. I think I'm pushing it a little further than I used to, so it's a good laptop, but kind of thinking about trading it in once the new M1X chips really start coming around, and once Adobe starts really supporting it. But we'll come back to that shot that's not rendered. So this one was with the Pocket Cinema. So let me show you kind of what I've been doing with the Pocket Cinema on the actual shots. So going into the master effect controls, and I shot this in Blackmagic RAW, shot it in 8:1. I've been kind of defaulting at that 8:1. I like that look. And then I go into going with clip, as far as like decode using the clip, and then I've got to move that over to Gen 5 Science, because what I'm using is a LUT that uses the Gen 5 Science, and it is, the name of the LUT is I can't remember, but I may come back to that. So the name of that LUT is, I can't remember, but it looks, I think it's Cinecolor is I think what the name of it is, and it's a free LUT. You can get that out there, and I can put that in the description. But that's out there to get for free, and I've been really happy with it for the most part. And then what I've been doing is I crank the saturation. I would even probably go even more, but I'm really just well, that didn't do the trick. Let's undo that. So what I'm doing is I'm really cranking up the saturation. I really like saturation for whatever reason. It just looks so much better to me to just saturate it a lot. And so then really the only other settings that I really touch is the black level and the white level and the black level, and then go into Lumetri, and then just put a -0.1 vignette around it, just to give it just a little bit of, just kind of focus in the center. I really kind of like that, and I did that, I believe, to all the Mavic shots too. So underneath the bench. So I've been so like this particular shot over at Orchard Park, I've been practicing with kind of that multi-layer as far as the controller, and not just going one direction. I've been kind of trying to combine two directions at once. So that's why I just wanted to go above this tree, but I wanted to kind of angle down at the same time. So that was more of like that was going up, and then there's a wheel on the front side of the controller that makes the camera angle down. So that's what I was doing. I was going up and angling down. And I loved pulling the shadow into the shot. I love doing that. Still having the footprints. This shot, I really love how how this timed out. I wasn't planning on using it with the track at the time. So the funny thing was, you know, I said, I'm just going to go for a fast shot. I really have been like watching like the FPV stuff, and this is not an FPV drone by any means, but I really like the, you know, kind of the way you can get some speed out of it. And I love going across I wanted to get as low to the snow as I could and just kind of move as fast as I could. So, and that's about as fast as I could go. But I loved how you can hear in the track, it's, you know, and then you see all the tracks just kind of crisscrossing across your shot as you're moving across. So I thought that added to that, kind of was choreographed unintentionally. I really didn't intend for that to happen, but once I put it together, I was like, oh, that timed out pretty good. So so loved how that worked out. Bird's nest. Yeah, this is the first shot that I got, and I knew I was not on that day from the very first shot. I just knew I wasn't. I brought my Ronin along, but I didn't end up using it. It just didn't. I didn't have the time to really set it up the right way, and so I was just kind of in a hurry. I had been using the drone quite a bit, and so I was like, you know, I'm just going to grab a few shots. I brought the Ronin along with, but I didn't end up using it. So I was like, I'm just going to go handheld, and then whatever I feel like I need to send through warp stabilizer or anything like that, then I'll do that. But I about half the shots I did, and the other half I didn't. So just kind of flying over the North Forest. So I had fun with this one. This one was just like, worked out great. Just kind of moving across and having that little tram, the little transport thing moving down the road. And something that I, you know, kind of, that just happened, and it was great when it happened. Sometimes I see a lot of, you know, I kind of, you know, when I'm committed to moving across, I'm like, okay, whatever happens, happens. You know, a lot of times you see the motion and you kind of tend to, you react and want to try to follow that action. But just follow it. Just follow through with the shot. And I'll show you some things that I followed through with when I did, you know, and things that I cut out. But I just wanted to, you know, show you guys that this is kind of like, this is what I kind of do, is commit to a shot and then just stay with it, even if something goes across the, you know, don't follow the shiny object, just keep going across, and it comes across looking, I thought it looked really cool, you know, just having that moving across and then just moving in and out of the shot. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but you might be able to see it a little bit more in 4K. But there's some snow that's blowing across the top of that. I thought that was cool. And then more of kind of going towards the south side of the. This is like just an empty field right off of J Street. And this is one of the sculptures that you can actually walk through, and it was covered with snow. Usually, it's got some LED lights that are blue. Kind of like a light blue, kind of like ocean blue type, and it's really cool, and you can walk through it. I've never seen it from the top, so I thought that was pretty cool. And again, just kind of using that circular, kind of that up and to the left motion. So I'm going up, and then I'm spinning at the same time, and kind of spinning through the shot. And I don't use a whole lot. I mean, I could have used the whole thing, but I kind of figured out, though, as far as the rate that I need to go, because sometimes I get too fast and it just makes you dizzy, and you know, but I kind of figured like this was the speed that I need to go, just kind of that turning, just slow. And this one was fun too. This one I liked. because it looks like I'm walking through the snow, but it's actually the drone, and I made sure it was kind of like chest high. I wanted it to be like, like the highest on my face, but I wanted it. I thought chest high would kind of really replicate that walking through the woods. So this was actually the drone, but it kind of looks like I'm walking through as well. So I thought that turned out really cool. And just so you know, I kind of treat there's two ways of thought on the drone. Taking a drone out is, you get the drone and you're like, oh, I want it to, I just want to go as high as possible, and I want to get all the stuff shooting down as possible, and treat it more like an aircraft. And I tend to treat it more like not an aircraft, but more like another camera, because my eye's been trained for cameras for forever, for at least 25 years that I've been doing this. And this tends to, I tend to look at it more of another camera. So even I could, if I could just hold it, and place it where I want to, I would, I'd see the benefit in that. And that's kind of how I see the drone. It's great that you can get up, but I don't treat it as if it were an aircraft. And yes, I have to get like a license and kind of think that way to get the license. But I really think more of it as just more of a creative thing, and more of a another camera. And I know that most people kind of do that, but I know that there is two schools of thought on it, as far as like using drones and footage and stuff like that. But that's kind of how I see it. Is it's just another tool in my, in as far as like video, capturing video and stuff like that, and film and whatnot. So Pocket Cinema again. I was struggling. This was another reason I wasn't feeling on. It was really hard to see, outside, because it was so bright. And I had my sunglasses on, and my sunglasses were too dark, and it was just like, it was really hard to get focused, especially on this tree branch, and it didn't quite land, but I'm okay with it, but I wasn't 100% happy with it. And there again, I don't know if you saw it, just that one little spit of snow kind of falling down. This shot was, so this, I liked this shot, but it didn't really portray the scale of that deer. That deer is like 12 feet tall, but it felt like, it kind of looked like a shot where I took the Ronin and just kind of took it across, and that deer is like 4 feet tall. But that deer is really tall, and I don't think I got the scale of it just right. I thought about, I thought of it in my head, and then I was like, it just didn't come across the way I thought of it in my head, because it just looks like it doesn't look as massive, because you can't I guess you can't really tell how far the ground is, and the scale of it. But yeah, that's a really tall deer. You couldn't have got that shot without a drone or a ladder. And this was right in that same, this is right above that deer, just kind of aimed down at 45 degrees and just kind of turning. So I had fun with this shot. This shot was, that sculpture is like one of those centrifugal force things, and it's just always kind of moving. And I got as close to it as I possibly could and felt comfortable, but probably like 2 seconds before, it would have been in my way and I would have hit it. So just kind of timing it out was fun. And then I got as close to as I could to it, and then just kind of cranked it all the way back. Some just plants that I got with the Pocket Cinema, and just kind of switching up focus and stuff like that. These I didn't mess with the stabilization or anything like that. I just kind of let it go. Okay, so star of the show is the Chihuly artwork here, and the snow on top of it. I felt like I saw that and I was like, I cannot not get that. So the drone was used for that as well. And then just did a slow pull back. And I loved being out there because there was, I mean, I saw maybe one other person out there. So it was fun. So here's the other shot. And again, it's kind of testing some things out. And I'll show you. Well, first of all, I'll show you the shot as it is right now. So kind of experimenting with the rotating around and then moving the camera at the same time. So, okay. Nice. And then I'll show you what the end of the shot looks like. Not as smooth and nice, you know, like 2 frames after the part that I cut, because oh, and down it goes. So that was the end of my shooting. Was that at that point I was like, okay, I'm done. But you know, I could probably, I may extend that shot just a little bit actually. I'm okay with the tree kind of coming in front of it because it doesn't really affect the flight, the pattern of the flight until probably like, let me see where it affects the pattern of the flight, right about there. So right about there. So I'm just gonna back it up maybe 2 frames. Let's see what this looks like. And I've just been applying just a straight up dissolve. I've not even been adjusting the length of it or anything like that. So it's a little bit, you can kind of see in the dissolve, you can kind of see the so it's a little bit. So let's we can either move the dissolve over just a little bit and kind of dissolve out. Okay. Let's move it over just a little bit. Let's see if that works. Yeah, okay. I'll deal with that. So kind of extends it out just a little bit. I wanted to make it go as long as I possibly could, so I think that works. And then just kind of a shot right in that same area, and then just kind of going straight up and just kind of ending the song. So the name of the song that I picked was it was Where Have I Known You Before? And it was off an album that Chick did with his band in like 1970, I believe 76. It was Return to Forever, and the name of the album was Where Have I Known You Before? And it very funk and very just inspired by fusion. It really was fusion is what it was, but this one track was just Chick and the piano and just beautiful track. So I thought I'd use that. I didn't want to use like some heavy pieces that, you know, had a lot of musicians around him. I wanted just him, so that's why I picked this song, was just something with just piano, and I thought that this was a good track to use. And then at the very end, I just kind of put a little in memory of Armando, Chick Corea. I didn't realize his name was Armando, and thus the name Armando's Rumba, unless it was for his grandfather or his father, I believe, was also named Armando. So, but yeah, that's pretty much a step through just kind of this the way this video came together, and just wanted to give you guys an idea of how it came together. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments. And if you do have any anything that could help me improve, I would definitely like a comment or two about that as well. So if you see something that you're like, hey, you could be doing this different, or you could be improving in this way, let me know, because I'm all about improving and then trying to pass that along too. So thanks a lot and have a good day.